want justice for your family member.
Getting somewhere. Well, guess what? My argument is simple, Tiffany. All I want is justice for my people. I want the people that caused this harm and this trauma and this pain and this hurt towards my people to know what it feels like. Right. I want them to know what it feels like to have their sons and daughters taken from them. I want them to know what it feels like to have their fathers to be sent into prison for a crime that they didn't even commit. I want them to know what it feels like to see their mother on drugs, man. That is justice according to God.
You gotta come back to your God. In America, the white man can sell all the drugs he wants to. As soon as he feels like it, he'll legalize crack. So this is what you do. You go to Planned Parenthood and you tell them to kill all the white babies and to leave my damn babies alone. How about that?
That your pastor would never tell you. Your pastor would never tell you that you're a murderer. That you're a filthy, disgusting scum of the earth. That you want to kill an innocent child before it's born.
Don't touch him. You back up. Take a step. Take a step. One step. There you go. Let him come. Because if he crossed that line, it's on him. I just want it on camera. I just want it on camera. And I want everybody else to see what the brother looks like, man. He is ran and heavy all over. Hey, hey, hey. Stand down. Stand down. Stand down. Stand down. Stand down. Hey, recovery. Recovery.
All right, Shalom Israel. We had an Isupk case started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanded Junior Hunter. And this is today is going to be my lecture on the Ocoee Massacre and the history of Parramore. I want to say Yahweh Shem Shabaraka Thumb to the brothers, Yahweh Shemar Thaba Shem Yashah to the sisters. You know what I'm saying? Everybody tap in, the water for everybody that's joining in. You know what I mean? We're gonna get it rocking in just a second. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a very educational. Hopefully, everybody get something out of it. You know what I mean? Some knowledge of, you know what I'm saying, history in Orlando, especially for people that's from Florida or that living in the Orlando area or in any, you know what I'm saying, surrounding cities and stuff like that. It's always good to tap in and know, our history, you know what I mean, and everything that we dealt with in this oppression and this in Esau's kingdom, because they like to suppress a lot of things. And although they try very hard, they want to forget all the horrific things that they did to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know what I mean? And they don't want the world to know. You know what I'm saying? They don't want the world to remember what's going on. You know what I mean? What happened and what they did to the Lord's chosen people. But as long as we're able to, we're going to make sure that we shed light on the things that they did and the things that, you know what I'm saying, they continue to do, and let you know that there's nothing new up under the sun. You know what I mean? So, like I said, should be a good little bit of information that's, you know what I'm saying, being brought out today. And of course, we're going to tie it in with the scriptures. You know what I mean? So, y'all bear with me. My first time doing something like this. So, have a little mercy on your brother. You know what I mean? So, without further ado, we're gonna get into it. You know what I mean? The Ocoee Massacre of 1920. Ocoee is a town, a little city in and around the Orlando area. You know what I mean? If anybody's familiar with it, it's not too far from Orlando. You know what I mean? And it has some rich history that, most Floridians or most people from Orlando or even Ocoee don't even really know. You know what I mean? So, if you're familiar with that, then this is definitely going to, hit home. And if you're familiar with, Central Florida, you're going to definitely be amazed at some of the things that, you know what I'm saying, our oppressor has done to, our people. So, you know what I'm saying, we're going to jump right into it. The Ocoee Massacre. On November 1st, the day before the election, with robes and crosses, the Klan paraded throughout the streets of two Black communities in Ocoee late into the night. With megaphones, they warned that not a single Negro will be permitted to vote. And if any of them dare to do so, there will be dire consequences. Now, right there, that's a tactic that our oppressor used to use to scare us. They'll wait till nighttime, and then you'll see a bunch of white men in bed sheets riding horses and yelling out all kind of crazy words and crazy names, going to people's houses. They usually go to somebody's house that was significant in the Black community. Either it was a pastor or it was a teacher. It could have been somebody that owned their house and their land. You know what I mean? somebody that was significant in the black community, they will usually show up to their house at night, put a cross, set it on fire, and just, sometimes shoot their house up, sometimes go in there and drag the man out of his bed in front of his wife and children, beat him up and tell him you stop doing whatever you're doing. If you was teaching classes, stop teaching black folks how to read, stop trying to give black people hope. If you was a landowner, they was trying to tell you to get out of town because they wanted your land or whatever the case may be. But this right here, what we're reading right now is the norm for, the Jim Crow area and things that happen in our community from the Klan. That's what they would do. When, some of importance would come around and we would insert ourselves in it, they would use these kind of scare tactics to try to get us to, to simmer down or whatever. Election day came, and at the least, some blacks did attempt to vote in Orange County. However, none were permitted to enter into the respective polling places. White enforcers camped out around the center, and poll workers were given instructions to deflect their attempts, meaning that, they wouldn't let us come vote. Like, even if we fought for the right to vote, we got the right, they still would do whatever they needed to do to keep us from voting, because more likely we was voting for somebody that probably sold us a dream and said that they was going to, have more, they will, do more for the black community if we voted them in. And, they didn't want that. They didn't want us to have any kind of rights that kind of, I want to say that, they kind of almost made us equal to them as so-called Americans. That's an American right to vote. So anything that kept us from being a part of this place, they did. They tried to stop it. And we felt like voting would help us. Way back in 1920, we felt like, okay, if we voted for somebody that's not like us, if we voted for this white man that said that he'll make sure that we get these rights, that rights, all we got to do is vote, we believed in it. We believed him. For whatever reason, we did. And, we know from experience that us voting has never, ever benefited Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But you got to remember, this is years after the Civil War. This is years after slavery, and any kind of freedom that we thought we could get, we was doing whatever it took to try to get it. In this case, it was voting. That's where they said our hope lies in voting. So, right. Back to it. One by one would be black voters were turned away either by threats or violence or by poll workers who found their names mysteriously absent from the voting registry roll polls. Posters instructed them to get documentation from Notary Public R.C. Bigelow to verify that they were indeed registered to vote. Conveniently, however, Bigelow was unable to be located because he was out on a fishing trip that day. How convenient. I mean, he's the only person that could solidify them voting. And on this particular day, when he need to be around, he's going on a fishing trip. This is little things that they would do. Like, this is little tactics that they would use against our people to just halt any progression that we had. Any little thing that we fought to do, they made sure they tried to stay 10 steps ahead of us because they was in all the high places. They were the judges, they were lawyers, they were prosecutors, they were the county sheriffs. They were all these people that we needed to get help from, there was these people, and these people hated our guts. So no, we didn't get no assistance from them. Barely. You might have 1 or 2 out of 100 that tried to help us in whatever kind of way until they got persuaded to get out the way. So like him going on a fishing trip on the date of election and voting is not a coincidence that he chose this day. It was on purpose. With little other options, most returned to their homes without casting their ballots. Moses Norman would not be so easily deterred. Okay. After being turned away that morning at his Ocoee precinct, he rode to Orlando to seek the counsel of Judge Cheney. The attorney instructed him to write down the names of any African Americans who were not permitted to vote, and also the names of the poll workers who had denied their constitutional right. Now, this is the thing. Constitutional decided that we were 3/4 of a human being. And what we need to understand is that Constitution was not meant for us. Because while they was writing the Constitution, our ancestors were still in the fields. We were still in slavery. So when they were writing that all men were created equal, they weren't talking about us. Because if that was true, then we wouldn't be picking cotton when they was writing this Constitution about this is how America is going to be based on. You know what I'm saying? This is what America is going to stand on. And the false hope in the government that was built to go against us is very, very very harmful to the mindset. And the reason why I say that is you're doing all the legal steps to be a part of this place when this place doesn't want you to be a part of it. But you got people like this lawyer or this so-called judge telling you to take the proper steps to do it legally. When legally, you're not even considered to be an American. You was considered to be property. That's what we were to them. We were property. We weren't even citizens. Even when Lincoln so-called freed the slaves, that's when the Jim Crow era came. The sharecroppers came. They found ways to keep us somewhat in slavery by all means. They couldn't chain us down no more. They couldn't do that. So they put chains and boundaries elsewhere, like owning land, owning property, being a part of the community or whatever the case may be, even working. Like getting and finding a job was the hardest thing ever for a Black man, an Hispanic Native American man after slavery. So they came up with sharecropping. Sharecropping is just like slavery. Your slave master will rent you a piece of land that you already worked on, that your ancestors was born on and sold on and most died on. They'll rent you some land for a high price. What you had to do was you had to build crops, give up half of your crops to pay for this land that you would never be able to pay off, and you would be working this land till you die. You would never own it because you'll never be able to make enough money to pay it off. And then you would have to get a loan again. Well, I'll work 5 more years. Then 5 more years to another 5 years. That's 10 years. Now 5 more years. That's 15. Then that's 20. Now, your father done passed on. Now you inherit his debt. It's just that they just built a boundary around us. Keep reading. Cheney said a lawsuit against the county could be brought in contest to contest this violation. Norman returned to Ocoee with these instructions, along with a handful of black citizens again seeking to vote. As you can imagine, things did not go well. After being forcibly turned away, he demanded that the poll workers' names and he demanded the poll workers' names and exclaimed, "We will vote by God." Like he's not giving up. This man is adamant about voting. He wasn't going to be turned away. He wasn't going to be like, okay, they say we can't vote. We're not going to vote. Like most people did because they didn't want the trouble that was going to come behind that. You had some people that would stand up and be like, no matter what, we're going to do what's right. We have the right to do this. Not knowing that just a few years ago, we was on these people's plantation. And to assert yourself in their so-called business, to assert yourself in things that they felt like it was just for white people, that was the biggest slap in the face you could do to a white man. Besides messing with a white woman. Those two things solidified the death for you. Period. Like that's a death sentence. Asserting yourself in their affairs, like voting and trying to be a part of Congress and all that other stuff, and messing with a so-called white woman, you signed a death certificate in those times. That was just it. You was cooked, as our young people say, like, you was cooked. You know what I mean? The response by the Klan was a massacre. One of the people killed was Julius July Perry. The picture above here is a description of Perry from Ocoee on fire. So, if you could, like, I don't know, it's a picture of him. If you just Google, you like Ocoee Massacre. If you did that, just so y'all can follow along, I want y'all to try to, what I'm saying, Google that real quick so you can see this guy while we get into it. See that picture? Oh, y'all like that. And then we're going to read a little bit about this guy, and then we're going to get into, yeah, you see that picture? That's Julius July Perry. Yeah, seen it? Right. So, going to read a little bit about him. July Perry had become well-respected godfather of the black community. He served as a deacon in the church and the local labor leader or a straw boss. It was said that anyone seeking to employ black laborers needed to speak with him first. Like, so y'all remember when I told y'all, like, the Klan, they don't just target anybody. They usually target people that was a significant person in the black community. So July Perry is what we reading about. He is one of those guys. So like how you see on the movie, how many people ever seen how many of y'all ever seen Malcolm X, the movie? You have? You have seen it? AJ, I know you probably ain't seen it. We'll watch it one day. Yeah, it's just like fish eating the meat and spitting out the bones. I run you through it. But if there's a scene there's a scene in that movie where the Klan go to his father's house. And his father was a pastor. And in that scene, the Klan go and tell him, hey, nigga, you been speaking and preaching that rhetoric, and you got all these color folks turned up and, you know what I'm saying, believing in something. And that was dangerous for the white people. That was dangerous for the white community that was surrounding black communities. Because once you start believing in something, then that's, you know, you're no longer prone to whatever, you know, they say. So in that movie, I guess Malcolm X's father was preaching that, you know, black people were more than what, you know, the white man was telling them at the time. And the Klan didn't like that. So what they did was they went to his house, dragged him out of the house, beat him up, took him to a railroad. They made him lay on the railroad till the train came. And the train ran over his body. They did that. And that drove Malcolm X's mother insane. She was sent to an asylum. And the kids were sent to foster care because of that action that they did. So this is similar to the same thing what they would do when we read about what's going on. Just to give y'all a little backdrop. Y'all all right? Y'all got any questions or anything? All right. He was an admired, brave, and rational thinker, a sort of civil rights leader before there was civil rights movement. He encouraged young blacks to be educated and to stand up for themselves as first-class citizens. Like I said, that's a dangerous thing to consider yourself even a citizen in this place at that time. And you see, like I was saying about what happened to Malcolm X, that he was telling young black, which is a good thing. What he was saying was right. But in that time, that was dangerous too. He was telling them to be educated. They didn't like no educated black man because they were dumb. Like, white people are dumb. Don't ever think that a white man or a woman are smarter than you. You know what I'm saying? Even the most uneducated black man is still the smartest in a room full of white people. You know what I mean? And that's just facts. They're not smart, period. But a black man being educated is a dangerous thing to them. Just like when the slaves learning how to read was such a crime that some people had their eyes poked out, burnt out, or some were sold, or a lot of them was even killed for learning how to read, especially reading the Bible. Now, I got a question. Why was the Bible so an offense that it could cause you death? Now, being a slave, reading the Bible was a death sentence. Why was that? Why was just this particular book such an offense for you to read that it could cause you death or your children being sold or even you being sold? They remember when they sold you, they didn't tell you what plantation your kids or your mother or your father or your sister or your brother was going to. They just sold you off. And you will see them just riding down the carriage, and you probably will see them no more ever in your life. Can you imagine how traumatizing that is? And I'm going to just put it in real times. Imagine this. Imagine you being taken away from your mother to a place you don't even know where you're going. And your mother will never see you again. And you will never see her again. How would that make you feel? You'll be angry beyond belief. You know what I mean? How would you think your mother would feel knowing that her daughter is going somewhere that she can't protect her? She ain't got no might in her hand to even stop this from happening. Right. She'd probably go crazy. How would you feel, AJ, if you was taken away from your mom or from me and you never seen us again?
Depressed.
Depressed. How would you think your parents would feel?
Probably the same. Maybe the same.
Right. So we got angry, depressed. How would you feel, man? How would you feel, sis? Depressed too? Powerless. Angry, depressed, powerless. Now just imagine all these feelings in one person. Oh, going crazy too. That was another one. Like, this is what our ancestors went through on a daily. And it was so critical. It was so what's the word I want to use? It was so, I'm gonna just say very, very bad. It was so bad that it leaked into our DNA. Did you know that? Like trauma, the trauma that our ancestors went to, it became genetic. Like a genetic traumatized like it was in our DNA.
Right.
Yes. There you go. So see the one. See, there you go. You be holding back on me, man. You know I be needing help. Like that trait was it formed, it was so dramatic that, the babies would pick that up in the womb. You know what I mean? And when they was born, studies show that they was born with that trait. Because depression is I guess it can be genetic. Yeah, hereditary. It could be that. So imagine every day living your life in fear. And that will cause you to be depressed. But you can't act on it. You can't really show it because guess what? You got to go out and work to survive. Like your survival is critical to, the rest of your family. You got to endure so much. Like our ancestors were strong, man. I don't think today's people could endure the things that they did. I know I couldn't.
Not even 60s.
Not even the 60s. Like most of us have no self-control. We'd be dead. I probably would have my feet cut off. Because I'd have been trying to run away every chance I get. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's me thinking in today's terms. But you got to think that our ancestors had a wife. They had children. You know what I mean? They couldn't have that selfish thought. Most of the time, if they did say we running away, it's the whole family running away. You know what I mean? It ain't just one person getting up and saying, the hell with this, I'm out of here. And leaving his wife and child behind. Sometimes it was the wife convincing the husband, man, let's get out of here. What if we get caught? So what? Like death became better than living on that plantation and being up under that white man because you was dead already. You was at the leisure of their wicked and crazy imagination and thought and mind. And the scriptures say they are estranged from the womb. He go wake up this day and just think about, you know what? I'm going to go S.A. Reuben's wife. Or you know what? I'm going to take Reuben's daughter and make her my bed wench. She's only 9-year-old, so what? Pedophilia ain't just started. It been going on. The white man been molesting our children. Because at one point in time, it was considered okay because we were considered property. Not to stray from what we talking about. I'm just saying like this right here ain't too far from what they came from. I would say maybe 50, 60 years or something like that. So like people probably was still just coming off the plantation still. You know what I mean? Like wholeheartedly. Some slaves didn't want to leave. Just like us in Egypt. Some of the Israelites didn't want to leave. And then when we got out there into the wilderness, they was like, man, why you brought us out here so we can die? We was better off in Egypt. That's today's time. A lot of our people don't want to be sitting where y'all sitting there. They don't want to hear the things that y'all gonna hear. Because they think they don't know nothing else but being a servant or being a slave to the slave master. So, sorry, I don't mean to get tired, sidetracked. Told you I talk about it.
Your question about why was the Bible?
There we go. See?
The truth. They would find out the truth. A lot of slaves didn't even know how to read.
Mm-hmm.
So those that could, when they read the Bible, they probably found out the truth about who they were.
Exactly.
So that's why they didn't want it to be in their possession. That was what them to rule over them.
Right.
Keep them ignorant.
Mm-hmm. And you're absolutely right, sis. That's exactly why. Because they know that the truth of our identity was right here. What you think Nat Turner did? Why do you think he revolted? He was one slave that was allowed to read the Bible. And his slave master would use him to go to plantation to read certain scriptures to the slaves. Slaves obey your master. Slaves be obedient. Do this and do that to get the people in line. But when he really started reading his Bible and studying it and realizing, like, dang, these people are us. We're descendant of these people. The thing that's in this Bible is happening to us. He made the connection between the two. It drove him to a riot or revolt. He started killing them people when he found out what he was doing to his people. Like the Birth of a Nation. Y'all ever seen that movie? You never seen Birth of a Nation? It's a so-called story of Nat Turner. Check it out. You should check it out and see, like, what was going on. Birth of a Nation. Excuse me. That's a good a good movie to watch. Yeah, but they didn't want y'all to know, just like today's time. They didn't want you to know who you are. So as more and more slaves were starting and learning how to read, they had to come up with the slave Bible. They had to come up with a whole nother Bible just because we were learning the truth from this Bible. So they came up with a whole nother Bible just about submission and being slaves that we could read. You know what I mean?
That's fine. Even now, we have the Bible in our possession. Still, a lot of people that still don't know. Because the Christian church will have you read certain parts of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I go over those, so it's still kind of the same.
Mm-hmm.
You're ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
You only know if you come into the truth.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Give her a hand. That's right. So that's the truth. Like, that's why I was saying to y'all earlier, this right here is the most powerful weapon that you have in your possession. Like, this is truly a weapon of knowledge and self that you would need, because as y'all get older, a lot of things going to change. A lot. You can see now that our people don't know where they're coming or going. They don't believe in nothing. They ain't standing on nothing. It's just whatever TV and social media put in front of them, that's what it is. We think we're just entertainers. We think we're just basketball players, football players, female rappers, dancers. Like, that's what we think our culture is. And that's by design. Because they make it look appealing. They make, like, oh, if you do this, you'll be rich and wealthy and famous. But not knowing them people are miserable. You know what I mean? If money is the answer to everything, how come so many rich people are on drugs and depressed? You know what I mean? Committing suicide. They got money. They got everything that, a poor person would want. If that is such, a good thing, why are they so depressed? For women, if having money is the key to a relationship, why do rich people get divorced? I don't know either. What I do know is money doesn't solve everything. Like rich people get divorced because even though with all that money that they have, they're still not happy or satisfied or in love with each other, or whatever the case may be. They just live, they're just able to buy whatever they want at any given time or go whatever they want at any given time. Don't mean that they're happy. You see them white people, they be miserable as hell. Their kids hate them, their wife hate them, like everybody hate them. You know what I mean? So yeah. So that's what, him telling them to be educated, to stand up for themselves, to, what I'm saying? Stand up for themselves as first class citizens is kind of like saying like, don't take their BS because, they was getting harassed every day. You got the right to own this land. You got the right to do this. You got the right to do that, which probably was the right thing to say at that time, but they also had to be very careful because at any given time, the Klan can come to your house and snatch you up out of there, kill you, and drive you off that land. And they didn't like people like July Perry and Norman. They didn't like people that, what they say, rouse the Negroes up. They're like when we, yes sir, master, no sir, looking down when they walk past, and if you got sticking, you sassing me, boy. You know what I'm saying? That's what they like that type of slave mentality on us. They don't like for us to stand up for ourselves or to stand up to them. You know what I mean? So, what is that? Perry's wife, what her name was? Stella. His 3 sons and daughters, Coretta, lived on a large estate that included their home and several barns and outbuildings. You know how much land that is to have several barns? That's a lot of land. And that's like they probably had more land than majority of the white people. They regularly open up their doors to anyone in need. If anyone was in trouble, they knew that they could find advice and sanctuary in the Perry's home. So they were saying that Perry was one of them guys that was a activist before there was activists in the city of Ocoee. If he was in trouble, hey, go to July house, go to Perry house. If you needed advice about something, go to Perry house. You know what I'm saying? Go to them. These people will help you out. We don't have that nowadays. We don't look out for each other like we did in those times when we knew it was just us against them. You know what I mean? And freaking integration messed that up. Integration stole everything that we worked for after slavery on to this point. Because with integration, we lost self pride, self identity, the willing to stand on our own 2 feet, the willing to make a way for us in our community and other Black families. We looked out for other Black families back in those times. We don't do it now. You know what I mean? That's crazy. So back to the massacre. In November 1920, that saw a white mob attack African American residents in parts of Ocoee, Florida, a town located in Orange County near Orlando. Ocoee was the home of 255 blacks and 560 whites, according to the 1920 census. The massacre took place on November 2nd, the day of the U.S. president election. So in the town of Ocoee, there was 255 blacks and 560 whites. That was a lot of black people in one time. You know what I mean? It was almost, you could say it was almost, this is the thing. They say it was 560 whites, but the whites wasn't living nowhere near the blacks. It was always segregated. So maybe they were on the west side of town and the whites was on the east side. Or we was on the north side of Ocoee and the whites was on the south side of Ocoee. They wasn't living together like how they want to make it out to be because the whites didn't want to live by us.
Yeah.
Right. Right. They still don't want to live by you. Like I remember, like this is the thing.
But they don't classify by race, they classify well. So you got your poor, middle class people. That's how still.
Yeah, and they use that as a disguise because wealth identifies identity too. Because they know who's wealthy and who's not. You know what I mean? They see somebody with a 800 credit score, they pulling up his info. You know what I'm saying? If they see a black person with 750 credit or even a 700, they're like, what the hell? They look and make sure everything, you gotta have all kind of documents to back everything up that they see. They damn near want you to take a DNA test. You know what I'm saying? To prove that you can have a 700 credit. You know what I mean? To prove that you got this good job and these bank statements ain't falsified. You making this much money? You probably making more than them. You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, you still not qualified to live in this neighborhood. Oh, HOA, that we don't allow pets. I got a bird.
Mm-hmm.
I got a parrot. You mean to tell me that this parrot is going to stop me from moving over here? Nah, your skin color. Back on Hawaii and Powers, that was white neighborhood. That was white people neighborhood. We weren't living over here like now. Hastings, Hawaii, even Ocoee, Claricona, Ocoee. All this area was white people living over here. We was on the other side. You know what I mean? Then guess what? One black family found a way in. And you know what they say? You see one, next week you'll see three, you'll see two. And that's what started happening. Because we didn't withhold information from each other back in those days. I got a house over there off of Hastings and Balboa. How you to get over there? Man, you got to go through this and do that. We would share because we wanted each other to prosper. We don't do that now. You got gatekeepers that try to keep the same people like them out of good things or good areas or good jobs or whatever that can help benefit the black community. Some people are so attached to their oppressor that they withhold that information from you. They don't want to see another, I don't want to see another day with this because the hatred, the Willie Lynch letters that they used against our ancestors, put this one against that one, put the light skinned against the dark one. Treat the pretty one better than you treat the one that's not so pretty. Make the tall one do more work than the short one. Oh, he's strong, give him, like, they would do that to create hatred towards each other. And Willie Lynch said, if you do it correctly, it'll last for 300 years. It's been lasting longer than that. Light-skinned people think they're better than dark-skinned people. Dark-skinned people don't like light-skinned people. She thinks she all that because she red. That's what they say, you know what I'm saying? She thinks she all that because she got good hair. Little simple things that don't really matter. We make that a big issue to keep us divided. And that's by design of our oppressor. By most estimates, a total of 30 to 80 black people were killed during what has been considered the single bloodiest day in modern American political history, leaving a lasting impression. Leaving a lasting impact in the 1930s census showed that in the city of Ocoee, 1,180 whites, 11 Native Americans, and 2 African Americans were living in the city of Ocoee. This is saying a year later, in 1920, there was 250 black families living in Ocoee, and only 560 white families living. After that, in 1930, there was 1,100 whites and only 2 black families living there. What that tell y'all?
They wanted some. Your intentions get us out.
Peer pressure to get us out? Right. All of y'all are correct. They did whatever they could take, whatever they could do to get us out of that city. They ran us out of a lot of cities. You know, we all know about, Black Wall Street, right? You? No? Tulsa, Oklahoma? No? You know about it? Tell me a little bit about it.
So the Oklahoma was a dominantly black neighborhood, and it was successful, very successful. By saying it like that. So they made up this little incident where a black kid got in an elevator with a white girl and made it seem like he had done something to her. So that gave him the excuse to burn Black Wall Street down.
You thinking about Emmett Till?
No.
Did you read this?
No.
Who told you this?
I don't remember exactly where, but
Mm-hmm. Well, I never heard that part. That's why I'm asking.
Oh.
That's why I'm asking. I ain't saying that's why I'm asking. But I think it was the 1940s, Tulsa, Oklahoma. During that time, they were a booming city. And they like you to believe that it was all black, but it was Hispanics and Native Americans there too. They were successful in business. They had their own doctors, their own banking system, their own court system, their own transit system. They had their own supermarkets. They had everything their own. And they kept it circulating within the city, so everybody was wealthy. It wasn't no such thing as a lower class or a middle class. Everybody was in the same standard because they didn't spend money outside that city. And they kept it circulating for years inside that city. Now, while they were booming and living and thriving, guess what a white America was going through? The Great Depression. You heard about that? They teach you about that, right? Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? They teach you about what they suffering and all that other stuff they was going through. But they didn't tell you in Tulsa, Oklahoma, these black people was living it up. And they were mad. So guess what they said? Let's do what we always did. Let's run them niggas out of town. Let's come up with a reason to show our hatred towards them because they're surviving and we're over here at the soup kitchen. standing in long lines to get chicken noodle soup and a piece of bread every day. That was their food. While we over here living our best lives. So our mob went there, started unaliving people. Then a bigger mob came. They was running people out of their houses, running people out of their establishments, chasing them out, hanging them, shooting them in the street, tying them up, shooting, setting them on fire, setting houses on fire, doing all these things to these people to get these people to run out of town. Now let me ask you a question. These people had deeds, they had land. Remember I told you they had their own banking system. Do you think the people had time to go to the bank and withdraw their money out? You think they had time to get the deeds to their house? What you think happened to that stuff? Now look, you got a whole town that's empty. They auction off our stuff. The money that was in that bank, the buildings, you know what I'm saying, that they had, stores and clothing stores and grocery stores and all kind of things, like they just took it. We had to start over from scratch. Them people that survived that had to start from scratch with nothing because they left it all. This is what they were known to do. This is what happened in Ocoee. They say 30 to 80 blacks were killed. That's just about what, 1/3 of the blacks that stayed there. If 255 black people was living there at the time, I'm pretty sure it was more than 80. You know what I'm saying? That's like half the population that was there were just killed. We ain't talking about the ones that left town. Know what I mean? What we supposed to do with that? What kind of mindset would that lead to people that just left everything with nowhere to go, no means, no food, no nothing? You think the white folks cared about that? They doing it today. That's crazy. A little bit about Moses Norman. In 1920, Moses Norman, a prosperous African American farmer, tried to vote but was turned away for being black. Him and other black prosperous men him and other black men had paid the toll taxes for other black voters to vote. So Moses Norman, July Perry, and other prosperous, wealthy black men paid for other men to vote. Like they paid their toll taxes to vote because like they're saying, they was trying to change things in the community. This white man, just like President Obama. President Obama said he was going to bring change. He ran on bringing change for blacks. And black people, when President Obama got in office, black people thought we made it in this country. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're finally in there now. We got a black president. They can't tell us nothing no more. Our noses was tooted up in the air. We thought our didn't stink. Because we got a black president. He looked like us, so what? We sticking to the man, we got a black president. Commander Junior Hunter, who is over the ISUPK, told us because we voted Obama in, blacks, Hispanics were going to pay for that. He said that when Obama got voted in. He did the whole thing on it. He said, we're going to have to pay for that. When Obama came in, were you happy? You probably was young. You didn't even.
I didn't care.
You didn't care about it. Oh, yeah, she's on. Sorry. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, sorry. How did you feel about it?
Felt like he was gonna be a puppet. It wasn't gonna be the type of power that people thought it was gonna
Mm-hmm.
be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt like I knew it was a deception, but I just didn't know like how deep it ran. I did know that nothing good was gonna come from this. You know what I mean? Because anytime a black man is in a high position like that, I thought he was gonna get killed. To be honest, I thought so. I was like, "Oh nah, he ain't no way he lasted 2 years. He's gonna get assassinated. They're gonna take him out, and that's gonna be that." When I came into the truth and into the Isupk, I found out what his agenda was. Every president has an agenda. He has a criteria that he has to fulfill in those 4 years. Because the people that backed him up and put him in that position need to reap the benefits of them doing so. He got to make sure, like, whatever laws that need to be passed or whatever favors them. The president don't really run the United States. He's just a puppet. He's just a face for the people behind the screens to get done what they need to get done. Obama, what he had to do was he had to implement the whole gay community. That's what he had to bring to the table. That's what their agenda was for him at that time. And they needed a black face to do it. Because the white people already had. They already had their little thing going. What the United States needed was the black community to get on board. The Hispanic community to get on board with this, what you see now, transgender, them having all kind of, saying LGBT, whatever alphabet people, all in the elementary schools and gay parades and all this other stuff. It hadn't reached the black community like that yet. They needed a black face to do it. Obama was the puppet, like you say. That's when, go ahead, sis.
Slovakia, he was in term from January 20th, 2009 to January 20th, 2017. So they were younger.
Oh. 2009? 2011?
Yeah, 2011.
Yeah, see, he wasn't even born. I'm sorry. He wasn't even born then. You know what I mean? His first term. Yeah, so that's what they had Obama to do. They had Obama to come and bring in what you see now. Don't you notice in every cartoon or every movie they got some kind of alternative lifestyle in it? I seen a cartoon with two cartoon girls they liked each other. They kissed each other. It's a Disney movie. You know what I mean? I remember Disney movies used to be Lion King and things like that. I ain't never seen no alternate lifestyle stuff in them early Disney movies. Not Lion King or nothing. I still watch Lion King today. I watch it every now and then. Because I liked that movie. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty good. But now it's all on TVs. It's all in the radio shows. It's all in the sitcoms. It's all in the movies. It's everywhere you go. And that wasn't the norm. When I was in high school or elementary or middle school and high school, there was one gay boy in the whole school. Or one girl that was, living that lifestyle, but you just know that, she liked playing basketball. She was a little rough. You know what I'm saying? She was what we would call a tomboy. You know what I'm saying? She didn't act girly. She didn't, you know what I'm saying? She didn't wear dresses. She always wore shorts or pants, and she played basketball. That's all you really knew in our time. And the boy, you just knew he liked to hang around the girls. Like, he was always with the girls. He talked funny. You know what I mean? He didn't talk. He wasn't rough. And, he was just girlish. Oh, he's on the bleachers with the girls playing in their hair. You know what I mean? And that's, you just know, like, oh yeah, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Now you see girls holding hands, girls in middle school, high school, they're in full-blown relationships. They force this on us. Now we're the victim. They played the victim. Now we're the victims. We don't have a say so. Our kids got to be around this stuff. I seen on TV. I see they had a alternative lifestyle parade, so in some city, and these dudes were naked. They were just walking down the street naked with the little rainbows, and it was a parade, and there were kids out there. Like, the parents that live that alternative lifestyle, that adopted kids and got children, their kids were out there watching this stuff. And these kids are confused. They could have been no more than 5 years old. They're watching these things. And you mean to tell me that this is okay in America? That you have drag queens going to elementary schools, reading books to children? You know how confusing that is? A kid knows, like, a man's supposed to dress like a man and a woman dress like a woman. A girl is a girl and a boy is a boy. They don't know the cross between the two. But they made it normal. And you can thank Obama for that. Because he tried to go there, he tried to go to Africa with that. And they told him to get the hell out of here. Even his homeland, he's not one of us. He's an African. We're not Africans. He's an African. So for black people to be so proud that another heathen is ruling over them, it was just like a slap in the face. Jesse Jackson crying and just seeing this nigga on TV, he crying like you would have thought Christ came back.
Because it wasn't him.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. That's probably exactly what it was. Know what I mean? And that just goes to show, like, we put our trust in these heathen in their ways, and it's not. And the Bible saying, the Bible scriptures say, envy not thy oppressor and choose none of his ways. The ways of America, we're not supposed to be dealing in. Like, no way, no how. Because it destroys us. And it's meant, and it was built, and it was organized to destroy the Lord's chosen people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, even the things that y'all go through, the things that y'all see, the things that, you know what I'm saying, y'all know that morally, some of it ain't right. A lot of it, most of it ain't right. But it's become the norm because all the other kids are doing it. Everybody's doing it. You see it on social media, you see it on TV, you see it in your neighborhoods, you see it everywhere. So all of it becomes normal to you. You feel like, oh, no. That just was the name. Yeah, she got two moms. You know what I mean? And oh yeah. Oh no, that's Jonathan. Yeah, he got two dads. Like what? Yeah, he got two dads. What do you mean by that? Like his dad is married to a dad. Like his dad is married to a man. And it became normal. And for us as parents, that's alarming. Because we're so worried about what's happening in y'all generation. Like, what's going on in y'all generation? how is it affecting you guys? So having a parent that's in this truth, having a parent that's in this truth is going to be y'all protection, man. It's going to be the thing that keeps you guys grounded and sound while everybody's going crazy. You know how many young kids are unaliving themselves because they're being bullied, because they're being depressed, because they can't find friends, or nobody likes them because they're smart, or they're different, or they're prettier than somebody else, or they're just not what everybody else is. Like, that's sad. And all this comes from things like the Ocoee Massacre that happened. It follows it. It keeps happening. So like, oh, wait a minute. Other key points in the massacre. In Ocoee and across the state, various Black organizations have been conducting voters registration drives for a year. Those who registered to vote almost exclusively voted as Republicans because Blacks were not permitted to join the all-white Democrat Party. You guys know that? Black people were Republicans before they was Democrats because they couldn't be Democrats because Democrats was for white people, all whites. A Black person couldn't be a Democrat. You know what I mean? So that goes to show you that none of it is for us. Because first we were Republican, now somebody done sold you a dream, Martin Luther King, now you're a Democrat. Well, you couldn't even be political in the first place. You know what I mean? So it's saying that, Blacks weren't allowed to be Democrats. They had to be Republicans. This is in 1920s. Especially in the South, you couldn't be a Democrat. You had to be a Republican. Now both sides are just trash. The whole thing is trash. One side wants guns, the other side wants gay rights and the right to abort babies as much as they want. I know you guys are young. Do you guys know what abortion is? Y'all not that young. Right. So let me pick y'all brain for a little bit. We'll start with you first. How do you feel about abortion? Just, there's no right answer. I just, I'm saying, being a young woman, being a young lady, and I know you know what it is, so I'm pretty sure you heard about things like that. Just off the top of your head, it's no right or wrong answer. I just want to see, how you feel about it.
Personally, I think that it should be a thing because imagine you have a kid and your kid's young, and then your kid is gonna have a child. Would you want your child? Would you want your child to have a child with your child being a child? Like, let's say you have a 12-year-old daughter. How would you feel if your 12-year-old is about to give birth to another child being a child themselves?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody would want that.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it's gonna ruin their life.
Mm-hmm.
But then, if you have an abortion, why are you killing babies and stuff? There is no right or wrong answer. It doesn't matter what you think because you are not that person.
Mm-hmm.
It's their body and it's their choice.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is be there to support them and help them get through it. That's it. That's what I think, though.
Okay, I understand. Yeah.
I feel like it's very circumstantial because you know, like what if, you know what I'm saying, you get raped or sexually assaulted and you don't want that. You want the baby with that. So I feel like it also should be a thing because of the fact that it could happen to you or, you know, a young girl or a woman and didn't want the baby. So
Mhm. Okay, interesting. Well, us as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we have a standard. We have things that we have laws, statutes, and commandments. And one of the laws we have is thou shalt not kill. Now, with that being said, how does a 12-year-old get pregnant?
You never know with this generation.
Mm.
I've seen it. So
I know how they get pregnant. I'm saying, how does a parent,
well, that's
I want to say allow it to happen because kids got a way of being sneaky. You know what I'm saying? They do things outside the house. Parents don't know what's going on. That's why we got to be more in tune with our kids. We got to be more hands-on. You know what I'm saying? We got to be we got to be connected with our children. You know what I'm saying? This the generation now, they want to be their kids' friend instead of their parents. You know what I mean? And it's okay to have a good relationship with your mother and your father, with your son or with your daughter. I try to have an excellent relationship with my son. And I tell him, talk to me. Let me know what's going on so I can help you. But to the fact of you guys' statement is a 12-year-old should know the dangers of being sexual active at a young age. Our father is supposed to protect his daughter. That's why fathers are needed in the household. Because you know what? Your father is the first male experience a daughter will have. And most daughters try to modern their their man or their boyfriend or the husband after their father. Because that's who they know what first that's their first experience of being a man would be is their dad. So they want somebody that, act like their dad. Single parent households, that's how you get 12-year-old pregnancy. So now you in a dilemma. Like you said, a 12-year-old, a baby having a baby. What do you do? No, there's a thing called adoption. You don't have to kill the baby. You can give it up for adoption. Even with somebody being SA, you can give it up for adoption. You don't have to abort it because two people are being erased. The baby and motherhood from the woman. Because when a woman carries a child and your mother knows, it brings a connection. You're connected to that soul, that spirit, in a way that only a mother could understand. You know what I mean? So when even when a mother has a miscarriage, it's heartening because they have a connection with that baby. Now, if you were aborted, you were aborting that connection, and you lose a part of yourself too. Only a evil person, like it's some. Let me phrase this right. Because of oppression that we're in, women, a woman that has been hardened by this oppression, sees that there's nothing wrong with that. It's my body, it's my choice. What about the choice of the baby? Does the baby not have a choice? If the baby had a choice, had a chance to decide whether they wanted to live or die, would you think it would have choose death? You think so? If you had a choice to be born here, or just say, nah, I want to be born, what would you choose? You want to live, right? So would that baby would want to live. But that's what our people have to deal with. We have to deal with these issues. Because these issues are high in our community because of oppression. You know what I mean? Like the scenario you gave, that 12-year-old mother has to work 2 jobs. So she ain't got time to be on top of her daughter like that. Other people are raising her kids. That woman that probably got SA, she had to work the late night shift to provide for her kids. That's why she was in that predicament. Because of oppression. Don't never think that it's your fault or it's our fault that we're in the conditions that we're in. It's because we're being oppressed that we're in these positions. You know what I mean? So, yeah, certain situations happen to us, but we were put in these positions because the Ocoee Massacre happened. Our people was ran from their land. Just think about, like you said, you had a friend that had a relative that lived in that. She had a relative that perished in the. What if that relative was Perry, a descendant from Perry? He owned land. That's generational wealth. Just think about that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Man. Just think about that. Like, just think about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the people that left all their belongings there, and the people that took over their stuff. Now their kids don't have nothing to tie them back to that place. This is all a chain reaction. Like all the events that we go through are chain reactions to, from what the oppressor has done to us. Even during slavery time, as you said, young sister, there were 12-year-old girls getting pregnant. 12. They were women being SA'd. They didn't have abortions then. And I'm pretty sure they would want to, you know what I'm saying, get rid of Master's baby. But they couldn't. And that's because our people has been oppressed by a evilish, devilish person called the so-called white man, Esau. You know what I mean? And that's what we live through to this day. So history that has been erased from memory, from being brought up, is to keep the facts that they did this to us and put us in these positions. And we gonna before the end of this thing, we gonna tie it in all to the scriptures so you'll further understand. And I'm glad I got 2 young people here to give me a little bit more insight on how y'all think. So when I ask y'all questions, I'm not picking on y'all. You understand? I just want to know what you guys think, because you guys are our future. You know what I mean? Y'all gonna be the ones that's taking over the charge when we go, or when we get to where y'all gotta come and help us to the grocery store, help us in the car and all this other stuff. Like, and we want y'all to be strong. You know what I mean? Okay, where I'm at. Okay, so now it was rumored that an ex-slave named Burley Jones spread a false rumor to his former master that armed black men were gathering at the home of July Perry. You heard this before? They said that an ex-slave spread a rumor that July Perry, Moses Norman, and 37 other men were armed and gathering at his house. White Ocoee residents were deputized, even known KKK members, to arrest Norman and Perry. This invoked the 1920 rise of Ocoee. So, because this so-called rumor that was spreaded, 30 to 80 people lost their lives. And it said that it was proven to be rumored by a black man that told this story, that they were that they was gathered there to do some harm. Now, the white Ocoee residents and non-KKK member were deputized to arrest Norman and Perry. They went to Perry's house to arrest Norman and both of them at the same time, but Perry escaped. So what they did was they shot up Norman escaped, but they shot Perry's house up, and there was 2 white men in Perry's house. I guess they were advocates, or they were people that would try to help them. And that spread a rumor that Perry and Norman killed 2 white men in 1920. Y'all already know.
Ocoee Massacre.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, I read that.
Right. You say you read that?
Yeah, I read it before.
Right. So what do you think happened after that?
Killed
They killed just him?
them.
Oh, they killed them. Okay. What do you think, young sister? Mm. Mm. True. You said you read it. What you think from that?
Yeah, they killed him and blamed it on him, I believe that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that those 2 that they killed the white men.
Right. And y'all know anytime that, there's been rumored that a white man was killed by a black man, white people go crazy.
On site.
You know what I mean? White people go extremely crazy. You see what they did to Emmett Till, and he ain't even kill nobody. He whistled at a woman. Allegedly. That's right. Allegedly. You know what I'm saying? And they mutilated his body. He's if you ever seen the picture, his body was on Time magazine. They don't even look like they, and how old he was, like 12 years old?
14, something like that.
14?
14 or 15, something like that. He was just a teenager.
Yeah, that's my son's age.
Yeah.
Just imagine a group of grown men just doing that to somebody your age, to where your face ain't even recognizable. Like, his mom recognized him from his teeth.
Mm.
Because he had such, nice teeth that she was like, yeah, that's him. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And we say that because First of all, he's a liar. And second of all, he's the most evil being that ever walked this planet. So, like, oh, here goes the part right here. Two white men, Elmer McDaniels and Leo Bogard, were killed by friendly fire when white resident Sam T. Salisbury led a group of white men, likely including Klans members, to surround July Perry's home. The group fired wildly into Perry's home, killing McDaniels and Bogard, and also wounding Perry and his 19-year-old daughter, Coretta. Norman was not at Perry's home and was able to escape before the mob arrived at his home. Local whites would later report that there were 37 armed blacks at Perry's home, and when the white citizens arrived, according to Perry's nephew, however, the only people at Perry's home were Perry, his wife, their children, and two hired hands. The sheriff's report and detailed funeral home records confirmed that McDaniels and Bogard were killed by the armed white man. You see that? The white man killed them. Not no black person, but they lied and said black people killed him. That's why we say the white man is the devil, because he's a liar. And so it just proved that right there. Nevertheless, the massacre was fueled by the false rumor that two black men killed two white men who had been acting in the capacity of law enforcement officers. Reinforcements from Orlando and Orange County were called upon, contributing to a mob that laid waste to the African American community in northern Ocoee and eventually lynching Perry, who was in custody at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Shooting and taking his body to Orlando, where he was hanged from a light post and to intimidate other black people. Norman escaped, never to be found. Hundreds of other African Americans fled the town, leaving behind their homes and their possessions. The white mob burned at least 25 black-owned homes, 2 churches, and black fraternal lodges. Most of the people living in Ocoee didn't even know that this happened there, said Palmetto Switch, chief curator of the Orange County Regional Historic Center. Most people living in Ocoee didn't even know that it happened. That's American history. Why are we learning about Christopher Columbus and, what his name is, Jefferson and Washington and all these white folks when we got our own history in here too? Right here in Orlando. This is Orange County. People say they didn't even know that they lived, that people living there didn't even know that this happened. That's crazy. That's crazy. And the thing is, if we don't bring these things out, our kids wouldn't know this. Like, our kids need to know, like, Black history in America. And not just the same old 1-2 step that they get on February. The same routine. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, Sojourner Truth, Bethune-Cookman College, Madam C.J. Walker. Like, there's other history here. We read Black history You're reading Black history every time you open up this Bible. This is Black history right here. This is our history right here. You don't have to wait till February to know Black history. All you got to do is just open up the Bible. And it'll tell you real deal Black history. You know what I mean? Things that y'all could be proud of. People that, you know, like King David. You know what I mean? Solomon, Yahweh Christ, the Black man, the greatest Black man that ever walked the earth. You know what I mean? That's crazy. All right. The history of Parramore. Who knows where Parramore is? You know?
Yeah.
You know?
I know where it's at.
Yeah. The history of Parramore. Parramore is right down the street. You know what I mean? Y'all wouldn't know where Parramore is. You know what I'm saying? Y'all too young to know where Parramore. Parramore is a historic street or area in Orlando. And we're gonna read about the history of Parramore a little bit, and then, you know, after that we gonna break both of these stories down with the scriptures, and then we have like Q&A if anybody have.
So like I got one. You know what Jones High School?
Yes, and me?
You know where it's at now, right?
Yeah.
The original Jones High.
It wasn't where it's at now.
No,
Nah.
so Parramore.
Right. It was on Parramore. It was the first Black. Oh, we get into that. Hold up, big guy. We get into that. We gonna get into it, man. We're gonna read about it. Yeah, history was my favorite subject in school too, because I used to like to learn about, you know, things that happened before that affect the future. But now I like learning about our history. I don't care about the white man history. But you gotta know it, because you gotta know the lies.
Right.
You gotta know the history. You gotta know the lies that they tell. Like the conquistadors. I know y'all learned about that, right? Y'all don't learn about the conquistadors? Do y'all learn about Christopher Columbus? Y'all learn about Thanksgiving and things like that. And they always tell one side of the story. You know what I mean? Nobody never thought to ask the Indians, the natives, the so-called Indians, the natives about Thanksgiving. Do you think they celebrate Thanksgiving? Why not? They are part of that story. Why they don't celebrate Thanksgiving? They were massacred. You guys knew that? So why is Thanksgiving celebrated in America?
To generate peace.
To generate peace.
So lucky because America celebrate their killers.
Mm-hmm. But she said, come up with your own answer. That's her answer.
Yeah, asking why don't they celebrate Thanksgiving?
Mm-hmm.
Because
I said, why? Did I say why don't I say? I thought I said,
why don't they?
why do America celebrate Thanksgiving?
No,
No, I don't. They don't.
nothing good came from it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a massacre of their people
Right.
Right.
and their land being stolen.
Correct. So now why do America celebrate Thanksgiving?
That was fine. That was the question. Right.
I thought.
That's the first one. Then
Oh, okay. All right. Good, then. Good. All right. America loves to celebrate conquering their enemies. They do that.
All right.
You always have movies of the wars and things like that. How they came over, how they beat the Nazis in World War I, and all the Confederate the Confederate wars and stuff like that. They love celebrating killing. Period.
Right.
That's their thing, to kill. They was blessed with the sword, meaning like they were blessed on knowing how to kill people, how to unalive people. Can't nobody with the Most High unalive people better than the white man. only the Most High can unalive you better than the white man. The white man sit back and think about ways to unalive you. Some of the things that they done did, only a mad person can think about. Throwing hot tar on somebody, then putting flowers on them, then tying them up to 2 horses and then splitting their body. Like, you would think the tar was enough. Digging a hole in the ground and putting nothing but their head up and letting them stay there for days. Putting them in a big metal hot box in the middle of the field in the sun and setting them in there, then every now and then throwing water in there on them. That's what they would do. Who sit back and think about things like that? Only white people think about stuff like that. The most grotesque thing that you could ever imagine, a white man is thinking about how to do it. You in?
A lot, but they can't help it, man. It was made like that.
Right. Right. It was estranged from the womb. Man, the Lord said, who can make straight what I made crooked? You can't make the white man straight because the Lord made him a certain way.
Right.
No matter how you feel about it, he'll never be that person that you want him to be. The Lord made it so.
So, like, one more thing to add with that, well, to them, they don't see it like that because it's normal to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't even fathom how evil and wicked it is.
Mm-hmm.
To them, that's natural.
Right.
So to try to explain to them how wicked it is, they can't never really understand it.
Correct. Yeah, you're right about that, man. All right, the history of Parramore. Parramore is Orlando's oldest and largest historical African American neighborhood, located just west of downtown. Established in the 1880s by Orlando's 14th mayor James B. Parramore, a former Confederate soldier, it was originally created as a segregated district to house Black workers employed by white residents on the east side of the railroad tracks. Do y'all know about the railroad track, Orange Blossom Trail? The tracks. Did y'all know that the tracks was a segregation line?
Mm.
That it was a segregation line? We need 2 more chairs up there, right? If you want. Sorry, so you want sure. Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right. It's good time. I'm fighting to get that other room, but somebody keep beating me out everywhere. I think it's a conspiracy. All right. Get it. Long. Where you at with it, boy? I'm just down to the history of Parramore. All right. It was created as a segregated district to house Black workers employed by white residents on the east side of the railroad tracks. Meaning Parramore, they created Parramore just to house the Black folks that was working for white folks on the east side. So they would go over there on the east side, clean their houses, do whatever, worked over there, and then they had to come back across the tracks in Parramore. That's where they were living at. So this whole area over here was considered, you know what I'm saying, the black community, basically.
If I could add, man, downtown Orlando is black. Right?
Okay.
The first settlers of Orlando in downtown Orlando was black people. Go ahead.
So like they used to call it black bottom.
There you go.
Man, I told you to hold on.
No.
I'm about to get up and let you do this thing real quick. It's definitely in these notes though.
They had that
Yeah,
in there?
yeah. Black bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jonestown.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, overcoming strict Jim Crow laws, this historic West Central neighborhood grew into a thriving, self-sufficient hub of African American culture, commerce, and community. Origins of segregation, Salaki. In the late 19th century, Orlando's rapid growth brought with it strict racial segregation. The area west of the railroad tracks and Division Avenue, originally by name like Jamestown and Black Bottom. See, I told you I was getting to it.
I did not know that was in there.
Yeah.
But I remember.
That's good though that you caught on to that.
Somebody called it black bottom.
Mm-hmm. And that's a part of the history of Parramore. Like Parramore had two other names. Like now, when the late 90s and like late 80s and 90s and on to 2000, we call it Crosstown. So that's three names right there: Black Bottom, Jonestown, Crosstown.
I forget one more.
Overtown.
Orlando's Harlem. They used to call it Harlem.
Oh yeah, Orlando's Harlem. Yeah, they used to call that. You know what I mean? So like, there's rich history over in what you see today over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're gonna get to that, but it wasn't always that. Like what we see today.
No.
It wasn't always drug infested, crack infested, crime infested area like that. It grew like that over time with the more oppression that, you know, the white man put on us.
Yeah.
So yeah. What was it? Like Jonestown and Black Bottom was set aside for black residents. Division Avenue was named for serving forbidden. Selected. Division Avenue, what we call Division Avenue, was just exactly what it was called.
Right.
I mean, it was exactly what it is. It was to divide the whites from the blacks. And I can't even say rich and the poor because it wasn't poor back then. It just wasn't really established like the white people, but we had our own.
We was thriving.
You know what I'm saying?
We was doing good. We was living it out.
We was doing good in our own way.
Yeah, we was.
During that time, you know, we had some of the awesomest restaurant, mom and pop restaurant, that good soul food home.
Casino.
Hey man, y'all brothers jumping the gun, man. Y'all jumping the gun. I did all this research and stuff. Y'all gonna let me get through these pages, man. Yeah. It's a lot. Should have been above me. No, but what y'all saying is true because like they like to, you know, so like if I make they like to downplay like our upcoming. Like Officer Thawshaw said, we were thriving. You know what I'm saying? We was doing our thing, like you said, the mom and pop stores. You know what I'm saying? That was our thing. You know what I mean? We, you know, they gave us Walmart while they kept Publix. You know what I mean? You barely see white folks in Walmart. Right. They love Publix. Now they get mad at y'all for going to Publix, so they created Aldi's. You know what I'm saying? Whole Foods. You know what I'm saying? They try to keep separation as much as they can, but they can't stop the children of Israel from coming up. Like we always gonna find a way to get above the standard that they set for us. You know what I'm saying? this Confederate soldier named Parramore said, yeah, we're gonna put all the niggas over here and just let them stay over here, and we're gonna be over here on the good side, what he was thinking. You know what I mean? Not knowing if they leave us alone, we do better than them. Put us in the areas that y'all don't want, and we'll make that into a paradise when y'all just leave us alone in this hell, in this hellish kingdom that the white man got. We create our own little paradise in this place because we know how to do it. You know what I mean? And they don't like that. They put us in the ghetto and they hate that we in the ghetto still doing our thing. Somebody can say something? What it say? Whites mostly dominated the eastern parts of the city and turned it into a sundown town. Meaning going across the tracks after sundown was a death certificate. You get caught crossing the tracks after sundown, you likely to be get hung or beat up or just probably never heard of again. And that was their ways of trying to keep us out of their community. Now, was it the same way on the other way around?
Somewhat.
I don't think so. I don't think no niggas was beating up no white man from coming across their track. Because if you got caught beating up a white man, they was burning the whole towns down.
Right. But that was a later history.
Yeah, right. So I'm saying like this,
right,
1920s and stuff.
Oh no.
We wasn't running, you know what I'm saying, white people out of our community like they was doing us. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't doing that, but in every, you know what I'm saying, city in America, they was doing us like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they was making routes to where we would have to go through their town to get to our place. But we couldn't be caught over there after sundown. So we had to make sure that we was in our own little neighborhoods after sundown. Because if not, you might not have made it home. And this is right here in Orlando. Who knew that Orlando and Parramore and OBT across the track was a sundown town? You didn't know that? I didn't really know that either. I heard about it, that, you know, some people that you weren't supposed to be going across the same tracks when you ride over OBT, them same tracks right there, black people wasn't allowed to go over there.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
They made something called the Green Book. I don't know if you ever heard about that, right? Where people that's traveling to different states, they'll list all the places that black people are welcomed at, the hotels, the restaurants, and stuff like that. Because, like Chaanak is bringing out, majority of cities across the nation was sundown towns.
Right.
So we needed a whole separate book to guide us through these cities, to tell us where we could stay. You know what I mean? That's why you had like famous jazz players and people that come from out of the state. When they come over here, they will sleep right here in Orlando and Parramore, because that was the safest space for them in Orlando. So, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you was gonna bring that up.
I'm glad that you said that. You know what I'm saying? The water surfer said that because that's my next point. You know what I'm saying? Like what he's bringing out is heavy because that's what it was. We had to have our own damn, what you call it? Map.
Mm-hmm.
God. You know what I'm saying? Guidebook to show us where to go and what not to go. What cities you need to be in by sundown and what cities you need to be out of there by sundown. Where you can just stay at that's safe for you and your family while you're traveling and where not to stay. Like, excuse me, black people created that. Now just thinking about the knowledge that they had to have with these cities and towns, like, okay, I'm traveling to St. Louis. I need to know all the safe places from Orlando to St. Louis where we can stay and create a map about it so it can help other black people. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, in these times, we stood together and we knew we all we had until the so-called leaders started getting in bed with these devils, it made us lower our guards down and then made us turn on each other for the scraps that they was giving. You know what I mean? You was finna say something?
Yeah, even today, we still have a couple of sundown towns right here in North Florida. Places like Steen Hatchery,
Mm-hmm.
known wide open, known as being a sundown town.
Even Lake Mary.
I agree.
Yeah.
Lake Mary.
Nah, you're right. Lake Mary. All right.
Bithlow. You know what I'm saying? They still known as sundown towns. And guess what? The lynching ain't stopped.
No.
You still can get lynched. There's somebody just got lynched on Parramore. Sister got lynched over there. She was found hanging from a tree, a year or two ago?
Mm-hmm.
2 other brothers down the street.
2020, that was Navon Barker.
Mm-hmm.
Brother got lynched right where we did a food drive.
Mm-hmm.
Tree right there. They lynched him like a few months out.
And they say it's suicide.
Mm-hmm.
All the lynches are they ruled of suicide. How long they gonna play that same record? But they getting away with it. They found a young sister down there in Miami, ruled it a suicide. They found another person, I think was in Georgia somewhere.
I think Carolina.
Or is it Carolina?
I'm not sure, but I think
Well, it was one of those. One of those.
probably both.
But that's so the sundown towns ain't gone.
No.
They still here. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of our youth are being targeted. Like a lot of these cats ain't older than 25. Like 21 and younger. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. The Black Mecca of the 1920s and 50s. Despite systematic disenfranchisement, Parramore blossomed into a vibrant, cohesive community and established its own schools, including the historical Jones High School.
Mm-hmm.
1920s, 1950s, they created Jones High School. One of the historical high schools in Orlando. One of the first high schools in Central, or in Orange County, Central Florida, I believe. A lot of famous people went to Jones High School. Wesley Snipes was one of the people that went to Jones High School. He graduated in my uncle's class. You know what I mean? So Jones High School been around, but guess how long it took for them to remodel Jones High School? Years. And Jones High School was high in education, graduations, book clubs. Like they was number one in a lot of the high school in the regions in a lot of these things, but they had the least of all the other high schools that was built up by the oppressor. And that's what I was telling y'all earlier. White people are dumb.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And you guys are smarter, way smarter than them. And I was saying, like, the most uneducated black man in the room of white people is still the smartest person in the room. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they have all these spoon-fed, you know what I'm saying? Everything to them is given. They ain't have to earn nothing. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to earn anything, but you guys got to fight tooth and nail to earn things that just should be yours, period. You got to earn that crap. You got to show that you smarter than them 10 times over. You got to fight hard to get in them colleges and get in them in them classes that you need to further your education and your careers. You got to fight twice as hard. You got to study twice as hard, and you guys are limited to access to things that'll help y'all. And why they spoon fed and they still just at the bottom of their class, but because they're white and this is their rulership, their kingdomship, they still get put above y'all. So Jones High School, every time you ride past it, every time you hear the name, just think of it that, you know what I'm saying, it paved the way for all the other black schools like Carver Middle School. I went to Carver Middle School. And that was one of the first black middle schools over here. Right there down by Ivy Lane and Raleigh Street. You know what I mean? So, churches and professional offices. Because Black Americans were barred from standard hotels during the Jim Crow era, Parramore became a vital sanctuary for traveling Black professional families, and entertainers such as Cab Calloway. Y'all know who that is?
Yeah.
Cab Calloway. Y'all know who that is? Ella Fitzgerald, Ray Charles, B.B. King, Count Bessie, and more. All of them stayed in hotels on Parramore and in Orlando.
Sattler's Hotel. Sattler.
Yeah. Stayed right there. Famous entertainers. Stayed right there on Parramore. What you see today is not what was there. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I keep saying, like, the history of Orlando is very much real Black, rich history, even downtown. Now, guess what they trying to do? They're trying to take away that. They're gentrifying it. Like, when we did a video about Parramore, I seen a white man walking his dog, happy without a care in the world. And I'm thinking, like, I remember the only time we seen white people coming here, they was coming to buy drugs.
I'm running.
Yeah, they were getting up out of there. They was getting them drugs and getting the heck away from around here. Now they're walking their little German Shepherd Chihuahuas. They done made a nice little park, you know what I'm saying, right there for them to walk around. They tearing down the projects and building these hotels. I mean, not hotels, but nice apartment buildings all around because they're trying to boot your existence out. They're trying to boot Black people out every time. Just like Trump trying to erase every good thing that we did. He trying to take it from us, trying to make it seem like we didn't build this place up. He's taking everything away from us. Well, he's trying to. And that's the same thing that they trying to do right now. Like all this stuff that we talking about, either they done demolished it or they just trying to erase it. What is it? The Wells Built Hotel, built in 1926 by Dr. William Monroe Wells, one of Orlando's first Black physicians. This hotel provided a safe lodging and was famously listed in the Negro Motorist Green Book. There you go. See? I tell you, I had that joint in there. Excuse me.
If I could add to,
Go ahead.
like, just to add, like that speaks volume to the economics that we had back then as well too. You know what I mean? Like the conditions that we see, like Chaanak is saying, is where you see people that's homeless, you see people that's in poverty. The houses are run down. They have no business there. But in the 1920s, we had businesses, we had doctors. You know what I'm saying? Like musicians, entertainers, casinos, hotels. All that adds and contributes to our economic state. So we was able to have families, able to eat, able to circulate the dollar amongst us. You get what I'm saying? Go ahead.
During that time, we still had doctors that would come to your house. You didn't really have to go to the doctor's office. They come to your house.
Yeah. So what need was there for a hospital really like that? I mean, there was a need for
there's definitely a need for a hospital.
But when you had a doctor that is on call, you know what I'm saying? And I guess it was a lot easier because it wasn't like thousands and thousands of people living there. So, you know, you can go get Dr. Frank and he'll come.
But that was a doctor for the whole family.
Right.
Family doctors for the whole neighborhood sometimes. You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Until you got other doctors that, you know, came up, I'm pretty sure. You know what I'm saying? That's when you probably know, let's get a hospital. Because Tulsa, Oklahoma had their own hospitals and stuff, I believe. They had their own everything. They ain't the only city that, you know, was thriving like that. We're reading about Orlando right now. We're reading about Parramore. Can anything good come from Parramore? We're reading about it right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like I don't know, like people like to look down on the ghetto, and then I made it to where, oh, you from the project, ugh. But it wasn't always the project. It wasn't always the ghetto. They turned it into that. They made it to where it was not a nice place to raise your children, not a nice place to live, not a nice to call home. But back in these times, you could leave your door unlocked,
Right.
wide open. Nobody was stealing. The neighborhood was watching out for the kids. Wasn't nobody trying to kidnap nobody's kids. You know what I mean? It was a community. It was one big family. Everybody knew everybody. Kids grew up respectfully. They grew up, you know what I'm saying, protected. And that's the thing they want us to forget about. That's why they work so hard to make it a byword to be like, oh, you from this place, you from that place. Now, me reading this and learning this stuff and meeting somebody to say, well, yeah, I'm from Parramore. Now I'm thinking like, dang, you from a historical part of the city. You from one of the first, you know what I'm saying, established places in Orlando. Black owned. I ain't looking at it like, oh, damn, you from the hood. You from the ghetto no more. Because without Parramore, you wouldn't have Carver Shores.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have had Richmond Heights. Without Eatonville, you wouldn't have Parramore. Eatonville, do y'all know Eatonville was the first all black established city in America?
Right. Yeah.
I guess the museum.
Oh, it down in Eatonville, right. The Zernell Hearst Festival, they still be having that every year? Remember the last time we went?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think even before that, I think it was two brothers, it was two towns that two brothers started up. One was Stevensville and I can't forget the other town, but it was two brothers.
Oh.
And then the other brother, when they got rid of that town, he came back.
It wasn't Rosewood, was it?
No, I have to look it up, but it was two brothers that started that town.
Okay. The South Street Casino, also built by Dr. Wells. This avenue was a legendary nightlife hub that hosted iconic performers like Ray Charles. You know what I'm saying? So that's the is that right there?
It was around South in the Vision.
Right there, the Exchange. Is that the Exchange?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the Exchange. Y'all remember the Exchange? Right there, like by the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
We parked the camps.
With overpass.
Yeah, right there. This is what this is talking about. Built right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it started? I remember that used to be an arcade. Back in the day, we called it the Exchange. I forgot what it was called.
Like Chesapeake Station.
Yeah. So like you would catch the bus and you could just go down there and just play games all day.
Because the original bus terminal was right there.
Yeah, it was right. Yeah, right there. So like this is just bringing old things back to life. You know what I mean? Like this is just wiping the dust off of things that they done tried to cover up, that they done tried to, you know what I'm saying, get rid of, that we ain't knowledgeable about things that black people built.
Okay. One more thing. During the time when Parramore and stuff was being built, it was being built mainly because of Orange Blossom Trail. Orange Blossom Trail was a trail that my ancestors made on horseback from north to south, south to north. That trail takes you all the way straight towards the Everglades.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they turned it into Orange Blossom Trail, and that was a street that was traveled by millions. So what better place to start a town in? It's right along the side of it because everybody came through there. That whole trail comes from North Florida all the way down to the
You
south.
take it all the way down. OBT goes like so far. And it's still what it's called.
It'll stop and continue on elsewhere.
It ain't Highway 55, is it?
441.
Yeah, 441. But then it goes and it turns to something else, but it's the same road though.
Osceola County, we had a chief named Chief Osceola, go all the way through that county.
Yeah.
The names keep changing, but that trail is still the same. That road still exists. It's still the same road.
Right. Nah, yeah, man, most definitely. Most definitely. Urban displacement and construction of I-4. Everybody know what I-4 is, right?
Mhm.
Everybody know that it's, I call it the death trap. Because that I-4, boy, that thing is hell. Horrible. Hey, and guess why? You know why it's probably horrible? Because it's built on the bones of black people and Native Americans. You know what I'm saying?
Ancestors is hard.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, like, that's probably why I got so many potholes and wrecks. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, they destroying things that, you know, our ancestors built, and, you know, that our people suffered and died over, and they just cover us up, move us out the way, and build whatever they want because this is their king. You know what I mean? The second half of the 20th century dealt several blows to the physical landscape and economic stability of Parramore. Urban renewal and massive public infrastructure projects fractured the neighborhood. In 1957, Interstate 4, which is called I-4, was built directly through the area, permanently dividing Parramore from the rest of downtown.
Mm. Yeah. If
So,
if I could,
go
like
ahead, so do your thing.
that's America 101. You know, racism is built in the fabric of America. Like they even build their highway systems based on racism. You get what I'm saying? Like they purposely made this highway to destroy Parramore, right? They destroyed houses, destroyed businesses in order to build this whole interstate, and that brought the community down. You know what I mean? The economics, the doctors, the people that was invested in the community now had to be displaced. You know what I'm saying? And it's all because of racism.
Right.
You know? They could have put that highway through anywhere. Winter Park could have put it through anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But they chose the black community. You know, that's all.
But they really they understand that they'll never thrive without them.
Right.
They'll never really thrive without them.
The thing is like once we come together,
Right.
they are afraid of that, right? When we come together and we start to build and actually create something for ourselves, become self-sustaining.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're trying to dismantle that any way possible. All throughout American history, they did that. You get what I'm saying? So we had Parramore, and we was taking care of ourselves with markets, businesses, doctors, lawyers, all type of things, schools, everything that we need to be self-sustaining. Stuff like that is a threat to their society. You get what I'm saying? Like, even if they need us or not, regardless, they feel as if black people ever become independent, we will rise above them. And just to add as well, during the 1920s, America is famous for the Great Depression.
Great Depression.
In the late 20s, right? In the late 1920s, right? The Great, right? You familiar, right?
Except for Tulsa.
Except for Tulsa, right? While America was suffering a depression, right? An economic downside, guess what? Where we was at? We was thriving. We was good. You get what I'm saying? Because we didn't have a part in their economic structure. So, right, go ahead.
They was jumping out of buildings, committing suicide.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we had to find a way to take care of our own. You know what I mean? And each and every time we do this, right, they create different ways to make sure we don't thrive. Not only with the interstate, redlining as well, too.
Yeah.
Right? I'm pretty right, redlining, right? They cut us off from getting loans and from certain investors not to look into our neighborhoods, which devalues the neighborhood when you're not having people that's willing to support it or fund it or care for it. You get what I'm saying? Like all of these things is implemented in racism. Real estate Racism, the credit system, the fact you need credit. Guess what? It was founded off of racism. Like all of that is part of making sure that Black people don't find a way to prosper. You get what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Right, and an example of that is when you look in your own neighborhoods and you see the Asians, the East Indians, you know, the Arabs, all of them got businesses in their neighborhood. When they come over here, they didn't have that money to buy these businesses. They come over here and get the loans and the grants and stuff that we should be entitled to.
Mm-hmm.
The same ones that we get red line on, they get the green light to have.
Yeah, because go ahead. No, go ahead.
It's like what I was saying is the banks was giving them loans to set up residents and stores at our neighborhood. But they couldn't set it up in the white.
It has to be set up in the minority neighborhood.
They'll get denied if they wanted to get a loan in a white neighborhood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, nope. You know what I mean? But the Black community, go right ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that brings us further down into poverty.
Right.
You know, and homelessness like we see today. You know, displacement and destroying the Black infrastructure, the businesses that we built by hand, brick by brick, you know, is what's going to bring us down as a people. You know,
what we should have did is we should have took a page out of Esau's book, because what Esau would do is he would go and bust their windows and like destroy their business while they were trying to, you know, set up them Chinese restaurants in their neighborhood. He would go and bust their windows and stuff like that, like terrorize them. Making them, you know what I'm saying, get that goop stuff out of here. You know what I'm saying? We should have been doing the same thing. When they try to come set up in our neighborhood, bust their windows. Yeah. Go set up in the Arabs neighborhoods or somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Go set up somewhere else. But guess what? It wouldn't have worked for us like that.
No.
Because they would have joined. Remember what songs say, they confederate against us.
Right.
They would have came together to be against the children of Israel. And it happens like that all the time. So, yeah. Griffin Park. Everybody know about GP. We was talking about this earlier. Shit. Okay, yeah. I got this point.
Very good.
And then I'm on the screen. You just keep going. Yeah, you got it. Griffin Park. Everybody know about Griffin Park, right? Beirut, GP. You know what I'm saying? Griffin Park was one of the first and the oldest housing community located in Parramore, in Orlando area, built in 1941. You know what I mean? It was named after Uncle Charlie Griffin. Charlie Griffin. It was named after Uncle Charlie Griffin, a formerly enslaved man who lived nearby and was well known in the community as a centurion and a local elder. So they named the oldest projects after, a formerly enslaved old dude. You know what I mean? And now they tearing it down. And in 1974, you know what I'm saying, the construction of the East-West, you know what I'm saying, just kind of like destroyed, you know what I'm saying, it destroyed over 1,000 homes and hundreds of Black businesses and several churches displacing thousands of residents. So as Parramore was growing, and we got up to that point by 1974, when they started building the East-West Expressway, that destroyed. That destroyed. I remember the Green Parrot. Remember the Green Parrot? That was like one of the places like people used to like to hang out. You know what I mean? All of that's gone now. And all because of the white man's greed is what we see today. You know what I'm saying? So how do we rebuild Orlando? Now this is where these records come in. Let me get Leviticus 18:3.
You grab that for y'all?
Yeah. While you grabbing, I just want to add as well too, like, everything has an effect to it, right? There's a avalanche effect to everything. So the fact that these communities became disenfranchised and destroyed is the reason why we're seeing the conditions of it today, right? This is nothing but a byproduct. You get what I'm saying? Like if Black people understood their identity and understood what these records was talking about, we could have maintained some type of sovereignty to where we can be, still thriving. You get what I mean? But still in all, our people, don't know who they are, was destroyed as a people. And then now we have the conditions that we see today. And then they turn around and say, well, it's your fault.
25 and 30.
It's your fault, Black people. You know what I mean? It's you the problem. You're violent or you're evil. And not ever acknowledging the root of the issue. That's all I want to add.
I was Leviticus what?
18 and 3.
18 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Good. The book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 3. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein they dwelt, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land in Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do. Neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. Keep going.
That's it on that.
See on that.
Right. So the Lord is telling us after the ordinance of Egypt and say Canaan, we shouldn't do. Like this is spiritual Egypt right here. You know what I'm saying? This is the land, this is Babylon. After the ordinance of the white man, we shouldn't be doing. During these times, you gotta believe that our people started getting depressed and started, feeling a certain way once they seen their community being destroyed by the white man. So they probably felt like they had to join the white man in order to survive. And most likely, most of them had to. But all the other things that, that they was doing, celebrating and forgetting the Most High, celebrating these pagan holidays, celebrating these evil things that the white man does, we shouldn't be doing it because it destroys us. That's what's going to keep us safe.
Yeah, just to add too, you've been trying to go to vote like July Perry did.
Mm-hmm.
Never try to have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Voting. Nothing ever came, to us by voting, marching and singing and doing none of that. They tell you to vote because, we need everybody to vote. And, if you don't vote, then you're the reason why we not getting nothing anyway. We the reason why things are not happening. That ain't the reason. The reason why things are not happening for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is because we turned our back on the Most High. We turned our back on our culture and the things that kept us close to the Most High, who kept us protected and safe. We started doing the things in the ordinance of Egypt and Canaan. You know what I'm saying? The thing of the white man. That's what, destroyed us. That's what destroyed our community. That's what destroyed Parramore. You know what I'm saying? Not just the white man, but us joining and doing the things that he was doing. You know what I'm saying? Helped destroy us. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Lord is telling us not to do. So we can find our way out of it. We just can't be doing what the white man do. Even not that our president choose none of his ways.
So like, and to add to that, that was really our downfall, especially with Martin Luther King, because we start doing business with them. Integration.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is saying. Integration destroyed us. We shouldn't be integrating with our enemies. You know what I'm saying? The people that hate us.
To think about it too, like look at these other nations and how their communities are thriving, businesses. But you never see in American history what they had a civil rights movement, right? Where's the Asian civil rights movement where they marched on the streets of Washington singing "We Shall Overcome." You know, there is no East Indian civil rights,
Right.
you know what I mean? No Arab civil rights movement, but their communities are thriving. You know why? Because they maintained their independence. They only cared for themselves. They didn't have to join, you know. They look out for each other. And that's where we, like you said, we fell off at. That civil rights movement destroyed us.
Right. So, caring about our community, caring about one another, is another way to help us rebuild. Let me get that Matthew 25 and 35. It's also in these scriptures on how we should be towards one another, how Christ told us to be towards each other. And this is what the blueprint Christ was trying to give us, you know what I'm saying, on the things we should be doing to help build our communities. And that's what Christ was doing in his time. He was building up, gathering his people together, rebuilding, you know what I'm saying, trying to rebuild our people. Go ahead.
Book of St. Matthew's, chapter 25, verse 35. For I was an hungry, ye gave me meat,
And
ye gave me meat.
right, what we having today, the food drives that Isupk have all over the country. You know what I'm saying? The clothing drives, well, you know, caring about one another is one thing that is going to help us, you know what I'm saying, rebuild us as a nation. Keep going.
I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink.
Mm-hmm.
I was a stranger, and ye took me in.
It said that July Perry House was known for housing people that was in trouble. We read that. We went over that. His house was known for if you needed somewhere to stay, a safe place to stay at night. He always opened his doors to people that needed help, food, or a place to stay. You know what I'm saying? That's the part of what Christ is telling us. Keep going.
Naked, and ye clothed me.
Mm-hmm.
I was sick, and ye visited me.
Mm-hmm.
I was in prison, and ye came unto me.
Right.
Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when we saw thee and hungry, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink. When saw we thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee.
Right. Yeah, it's like, when did we do all these things to you, man? Like, when did we see you without food or clothes or drink or nowhere to stay? And like, when did we do this? Keep going.
Or when we saw thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee. And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, ye have done it unto me.
So this is saying, if you do it to the least of one of us, like if you help a brother out with food or with clothing or a place to lay his head at night or the food drives, the clothing drives, you doing it just like you doing it to Christ. Like, it's just like you helping Christ out, because we're all family, we all brethren. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to love each other. You know what I'm saying? That builds up camaraderie amongst the brother. That builds up, you know, love for each other. You know what I'm saying? We looking out for somebody when they in dire need. Christ is telling you, when you're doing this to somebody, one of your brethren, it's just like you doing it for him. And he honors that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why, you know what I'm saying, we out there having food and clothing drives. You know what I mean? Because Christ told us to do it to our people. They in need. Look at all the people down there that ain't got food and ain't got, you know, a place to stay, ain't got, you know what I'm saying, no clothes to wear in the wintertime or things like that. Who's going to care for them if we don't care for them? Are we just supposed to turn our back on them? Christ wouldn't have did that. We call ourselves followers of Christ, right? Christ is our king. So Christ is telling you, don't forget about your brothers. Don't forget about Parramore. Don't forget about Griffin Park. Don't forget about the hoods and the ghettos. Because them still are people in these places.
God, like a lot of what brought out today was suppressed history. Like it didn't come out about the Ocoee Massacre until like 2020. You dig what I'm saying? Like recently, like when the whole Black Lives Matter movement was going on, that's when they finally came out with the history of the Ocoee Massacre. Before that, it was like hidden.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So,
and that's what one of the things said. It said many people staying in Ocoee never knew this even happened. You know what I'm saying? So just like that. Let me get First Maccabees 3:21. Pass it to me. First Maccabees 3:21. I had it on there. 3:21. It should be right there. Mm-hmm. All right. Go ahead. This is
Okay, this book of Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 21. But we fight for our lives.
We fight for what?
Our lives.
Uh-huh.
And our laws.
And our what?
And our laws.
The laws is what save our lives. The laws are what conduct our lives. We got to fight for both. You know what I mean? We fight for our lives and the laws of the Most High that keep us close to Him, that keep us separated from everybody else. They like to say that, the laws are done away with, but the laws are what govern Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And if we don't keep the law as to love one another as we love ourselves, to look out for one another, not to join the white man, to be separate and holy, it's going to destroy us like it destroyed Parramore. And like it, created the Ocoee Massacre and Rosewood and Eatonville and Tulsa, Oklahoma. You know what I mean? All these things, yeah, they was good, but guess what? We didn't input the Most High in none of it. You know what I'm saying? We thought we could do it on our own. You know what I'm saying? We thought just because we did it this time or we did it like that time, we left the laws out of it. Just think about if Tulsa, Oklahoma and Parramore were following the laws of the Most High. Do you think that the white man would have been able to destroy our place like that? Nah, he wouldn't have, because we would have had our protection. So now we got to fight for our lives and we got to fight for the laws. We got to fight, you know what I'm saying, to call ourselves Hebrew Israelites, because they don't think we the God's chosen people. They think you African American, Haitian, Jamaican. They think you everything but the child of the Most High. So we got to fight for all of that. Keep going.
Where we fight for our lives and our laws. Where the Lord Himself will overthrow them.
Will do what?
Overthrow them.
He will do what?
Overthrow them.
Orange County government, he would have did what?
Overthrow them.
If we did what? 21.
Before our face.
He will. If we fought for the laws in our life, if we kept the laws of the Most High, He would do what?
Overthrow them.
Overthrow them.
Before our face.
Before our face. Division Street, it wouldn't divide us from none of that, because the Lord would have gave it to us. He would have made it to where, you know what I'm saying, Parramore would have been just as big as Atlanta is right now. They say Atlanta is like the Mecca of the South right now. You know what I'm saying? With all the homosexuality they got going on up there. Parramore would have been like a busting town, booming black. Like, we would have expanded. Because the more, black people get up there, white people run. I don't know where they would have went. You know what I'm saying? But we would have had all of this. All of this would have been black owned. Downtown, what you see, all these buildings and all that, just think about it as a black metropolis, like none but black folks running all this over here. Keeping it nice, keeping it good, no drugs, no crime, no nothing, because ain't no oppression over here. This is covered by the Most High because we're doing what he told us to do. That's how we rebuild it. That's what we're doing right now. That's what today about, the food drive, the clothing drive and all that. Fighting for our lives and the laws and rebuilding, you know what I'm saying, the connection with our people to the Most High. That's what we got to do. And that's where the brotherhood come into play. Let me get Psalms 133 and 1. Like everything we learned today is tied into these records. There's a reason that everything happened. These records was here before all of this happened, and it's gonna show us how to get up and be different. 131 and 1. 133 and 1. Psalm 133 and 1.
Book of Psalms, chapter 133, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
A song of the breeze of David. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity.
How good and pleasant what?
How good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity.
Mm-hmm.
It is like the precious ointment upon thy head.
Right. They said it's good and pleasant for brethren to dwell in unity.
Mm-hmm.
Not all this fighting and shooting each other and animosity towards each other and hating on each other for no damn reason. Not our sisters out here fighting each other and just, you know what I'm saying, acting anything but the princesses of the Most High, how they should be acting. It's like we got to dwell in unity. You know what I mean? We got to care for one another. You know what I'm saying? We got to sympathize for one another. We got to make sure each other is okay because we are family. You know what I mean? We are brothers and we are sisters. We're not individuals because we're all being punished as a nation. Not just one person is being punished. We all being punished. So if we all come together and get it together, we'll all be, you know what I'm saying, on a good path. On a good path. Dwelling in unity like the Lord, you know what I'm saying, expected us to do. You know what I'm saying? That's it on that. Let me get Zephaniah 2 and 1.
Mm-hmm. The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Gather yourself together.
Do what?
Gather yourself together.
Nah, separate.
Gather yourselves together.
Nah, be everybody for themselves.
Gather yourselves together.
The scripture, the Lord said, gather yourselves together, not separate. We got to come together. Separation don't do nothing but just make us easy pickings. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to disrupt somebody when we ain't together. Like you against somebody, but if y'all together, y'all strong. If we together as a nation, we're strong. You know what I mean? We got to stop being separate.
If I could add it as well too, like not just getting together physically in one place. That's good, you know what I mean? But we also got to be one-minded, like, you know what I mean? The same spirit, right? Meaning we got to all be on one accord. With me, we all got to be on one accord. You know what I'm saying? With me, you know what I'm saying? So, got it.
Yeah, we all got to be one body and one mind, like in the Lord. And this is what the Isupk is doing. Isupk is bringing us back together how we should be according to these scriptures. We're the only one that really doing it the right and correct way. You see what's going on in these other fake Israelite camps. They being exposed and all kind of other stuff. If they would have stayed and gathered themselves together and came with their brother in unity, we will all be in, you know what I'm saying, a better position. But until, you know, they get it right, the UPK is still gonna be the standard for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? Our brotherhood is unmatched. And I'm not just talking about brotherhood, I'm talking about sisterhood as well.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So we gotta gather ourselves together. Go ahead.
Gather yourselves together. The nation is not desired.
Oh, nation not desired. We are not desired by nobody on this planet Earth. No other nation wants us. No other nation loves us. No other nation even want to deal with us. That's why we are the way we are. That's why things are like this for us. And you gotta know and understand that. Yeah, you may think they friends. Just like that little young brother that, got unalive that was on that boat trip with them white boys. You see him hanging, having pictures, throwing up peace signs, hugging them. He didn't come back alive that day. They unalived him some kind of way. Now his parents are grieving. They came home to their families. But what about us? Gathering ourselves together is not gathering with our enemies. The Lord said we were sold to our enemies. Never trust our enemies. These white people are not your friends. And I'm not sorry to tell you that. It brings me great joy to warn my young brothers and sisters to beware of these people. No matter how much they smile in your face, they know your name. No matter how much they, treat you like, like you're equal to them. The Lord said you are above these people. He said that, not me. He put it in the scriptures. It said the children of Israel, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American are his chosen people above everybody that's on the face of the earth. Don't be ashamed of that. Don't be ashamed of who you are. You're the Lord's chosen people. The Lord chose you. That's why the world hates you. That's why the other nations hate you. But the Lord said that you are his. And we have to represent the Most High by following these laws, statutes, and commandments. You are prince of the power. You are princess of the power. You know what I mean? A real deal princess, not the little fairy tale princesses, they got on Disney. None of that stuff. You a real deal princess. Royalty. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? So that's what it is. That was it on that. Zephaniah 2:1.
Boom.
You read the whole script?
Yeah. Verse 1.
Go ahead. Read verse 2 real quick. Yeah.
Okay, gather yourselves together. Yeah, gather together, O nation not desired. Before the decree bring forth. Before the day pass as the chaff. Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you. Before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
Right. That was it.
Done.
Before the Lord judgment on this earth come, we need to gather ourselves together and get on one track and one accord in one body. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord is going to judge this place, and everybody has any dealing with it that harm the Lord's chosen people, they're going to be dealt with. So he don't want that for you. So y'all being here today is a good thing, like I told you. Learning who you are, learning the Lord's, commandments and laws and statutes, learning who you are as a people and a nation is the best thing that could ever happen to us. You know what I'm saying? Last one, Ecclesiasticus 25:1.
Ecclesiasticus 25:1.
Yeah.
In three things I was beautified and stood up beautiful both before God and men. The unity of brethren.
The unity of what?
The unity of brethren.
Brethren coming together. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American, man, woman, and child. Us coming together Mm-hmm.
the love of neighbors,
The love of neighbors, not just your family member, but other people, other blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Loving them as you love yourself. Coming together, you know what I mean? Not having differences that the white man that, you know what I'm saying, put between us. There's no difference in between your oppression and my oppression. We suffering the same oppression from the same man. But he like to put us against each other because together we strong. Together we unified. Together we better off than being separate. You know what I mean? To knowing to have somebody you can call on when you going through something that's going through the same thing and y'all come together and work it out. It's a beautiful thing according to the Most High. Keep going.
okay. A man and a wife that agree together,
A man and a wife that agree together. The white man like to promote divorcement. Leave them. Christianity promotes you leaving that person, not y'all working it out, or y'all coming together and y'all fixing y'all problems together. Not y'all showing y'all love for each other and everything y'all done been through and y'all holding it down. They want y'all to separate. They don't want no black mans in the house. You know what I'm saying? They don't want no black man involved in his wives and his kids' life. They want you to be out there on your own. So the thing we talked about earlier, so a daughter being 12 years old, not having a father around, end up pregnant. Or a woman not having no security or having no man, end up getting essayed or something like that by one of these devils. A man and a woman need to be together because that's the way the Lord intended. You can work out your problems. You can get counsel for it, but you got to fight for it. You got to fight for one another. And the devil don't want you to fight. That devil called the white man don't want to see black families thriving, because if we would have had that, 1920 Parramore wouldn't be just history. It'd be going on right now. Still to this day. Keep going.
resource of men my soul hate.
I think that's it on that one. That's it on that one. So that will conclude the lecture, man. I appreciate y'all for hanging in. I know I kept y'all for a while, man. I appreciate y'all for, you know what I'm saying, bear with me. This is my first time. You know what I'm saying? It'll get better as I get the order to keep doing these, you know what I'm saying? So want to say Tawada to y'all, you know what I mean, and Tawada to everybody online for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. Hopefully y'all gain some knowledge and, you know what I'm saying, some good information that y'all can use, you know what I'm saying, and let people know about, you know, what's going on and what had happened here. So say Tawada to y'all, Tawada to everybody, you know what I'm saying, online. Y'all about Shem Shabrak Thumb, y'all Shema Thought about Shem Side. Should I get a pass class over with this?
Oh, you good.
Oh, all right. So yeah, we're gonna end the class with that. We'll be back here Saturday. Hopefully, you know, so now I have that room, but if not, I'm fighting to get these rooms. So we'll be back here next Saturday for, you know, Saturday class. So, you know, everybody stay tuned. The water, y'all. Shalom, family.